Hi there and welcome to the show. I'm Nancy Guppy. Well, last spring, which seems like a million years ago, we did an Art Zone episode from here, Museum of Museums, AKA MOM. It's a new cool art space on Capitol Hill that was just getting ready to open its doors when the pandemic hit. Well, 8 months later and COVID protocol firmly in place, MOM is open and we are going to hang out here throughout the show. After this was recorded, new COVID restrictions were put in place, so MOM isn't open, but hopefully will be again soon. So we've got a really great lineup for you, including Jill Farris and the power of improv, fun with animation.
Hi, I'm Barry the Bearable Bear.
And new music from Ryan Burns. We'll begin with Jed Dunkerley, an artist, an art teacher, and musician who also leads unique tours in Seattle neighborhoods.
It's time now for NARF, Neighborhood Adventure Ramble with Friends, with your host, Jed Dunkerley.
Hey, I'm Jed. Welcome to the tour. Today we're going to be exploring the Cliffs of Madrona, so let's get going. All right, so here we are in a place called the Leschi Natural Area. It's above the Leschi neighborhood, which is aligned with the Cliffs of Madrona. And Art Zone viewers, we wanted to talk about some art today. So I think a great place to start is with these giant boulders that have been polished on the top into slabs that you can just sit on. So it's very useful art. It's beautiful, it reflects the sky, but the real art, let's be honest, is right there. This is the kind of place that makes me love Seattle. Hidden in a neighborhood, $1 million view, which for most Americans, they would feel like they had to go on a week-long vacation to get this moment right here. And just remember, every step down is a step back up that you have to take later. And that is one of the features here in the Cliffs of Madrona. It reminds you that the tour is not just about seeing things, it's about getting exercise. Here we are down at Veretta Park, which is the home of the Kurt Cobain Memorial Bench, one of the best and widest known outsider art installations in the Cliffs of Madrona. And this being so close to Halloween, we actually have a delightful pumpkin tribute, which I really like. Look at that. That's some X-Acto bliss right there. Lyrics abound. You can take your pick. And one of the reasons this is here, of course, is because Kurt lived right over there and passed away right over there. Here we are at the Enchanted Ramp, and the Enchanted Ramp is in a category of art that I like to call outsider art installation. And things start like this, and then somebody sees it and they just start growing. And we don't know if it's all the work of one artist or if somebody saw a good idea and said, you know, I can do something like that. There's all sorts of fun little things to see if you just sort of peek. And let's see what we've got today. Gnome Village Home. So back there, there's a little guy that lives in the tree. Oh, this is fun. Haven't seen that before. Another fun cultural foray when you're on tour is the little free libraries that are prolific around Seattle. Let's see if we can find something in here that we like. Oh, wow. I haven't read this in a while. And then this is one of my favorites. I do this all the time with my hands. There's my stairs back up for you. Feel the burn. And it's also important when you're taking a tour to take breaks. Take advantage of public benches, especially ones with stumps around them. Here we we are on the Pine Street trestle, which most people don't even know exists, and quite frankly, why would it? It's a massive structure. I don't know if you can catch this woodwork down here. I'm easily 40 feet off the ground on a T-shaped trestle that just adjoins a street with another street. And while you're dazzled by the architecture and the sheer wonder of this even being here, you might catch a glimpse of a gnome. Then you see another gnome, and you start realizing, wait, there's a bunch of gnomes down there. Somebody did that. And that's the Pine Street Trestle Gnome Garden. Hey, that's it. Thanks for coming on tour with us. I hope you had fun. Just a quick reminder that every neighborhood in Seattle has this kind of stuff. It's your job to go out and find them. So happy narfing, have fun. We'll see you next time.
Our musical guest this week is Ryan Burns and his very talented friends performing the title track from Ryan's new record, Postponed Parade. Postponed Parade is available digitally on Bandcamp, iTunes, etc. And mark your calendar for the live record release party happening virtually on Saturday, November 28th from Seattle's famous Royal Room. More information is at liveconcertsstream.com. Jill Farris is a veteran improviser and a beloved member of Seattle's improv scene. In this segment, I talk with Jill about how she got started, the principles of improv, and the life-changing event last summer, which gave her a personal experience with the healing power of art.
Well, Jill Farris, it is lovely to see you. Oh, thank you, Nancy. It's great to be here. Great to see you.
Now, for someone who has never seen improv,
Yeah.
can you briefly describe what it is?
All right. Improv, theatrical improv, is where the players on a stage will take a suggestion and from the audience ask a question, or maybe just observe each other for a moment, but take an inspiration from somewhere and begin to make up through collaboration a spontaneous scene that no one has ever seen before. So they don't know what the scene's going to be about, and you don't know what the scene's going to be about, but they listen to each other and continue to build the scene until it's over. So you get to see, it's like magic, like a scene appear before your very eyes, and they can be as surprised as you are sometimes, the players.
Well, you've been an improviser for about 30
Yeah, I became a cast member in '92, so technically 28 years.
28 years. How did you get involved in improv?
Well, as I was growing up and in high school, I knew I wanted to do theater. I did it there, and I just felt like it was really in my identity or my bones, my blood to perform. I felt so wonderful to do that, and I loved theater. And so I promised myself that that'll be part of my adulthood. And so adulthood went another way with a child and other pursuits. But when there was a little time opened up in my life, then I thought, this is it. I'm going to hold true to that promise that I'm going to learn about theater. And so I was going to some shows. I went to a theater sports show, which is an improv show in Seattle, longest running show in Seattle. And it was like magic. I'd never seen improv before. And it looked like one big magic trick. And I thought, I could never do that. How do these people do that? And then at the end of the show, they announced that they teach classes. And I said, oh, there it is. That's my first theater class. I'm going to take a class. And that's the end of my story. I mean, that's the beginning and the end, because I just became enamored with the craft. And it's taken me so many places in so many ways. And I just love it and feel very much like I've answered my promise to myself to have theater in my life. And it just happened through improv. So
now I know there are some basic rules with improv, and one of them is yes and then there's also blocking. So if you could just define yes and blocking.
Okay, that's right. That's one of our fundamental rule, is saying yes and. So yes is being present and available in the moment, so you're able to receive the offer that's in front of you. Then the and is what we add of ourselves to what we see. So if someone says, I'm so glad to see you, Grandma, then they've made me their grandmother. And I say, yes, and I'm so glad you came on my birthday. And so I don't negate that I'm their grandmother, and I don't leave all the information on them. I say, yes, I'm your grandmother, and you're here because you came to celebrate my birthday. So we're building it together. I didn't decide I was a grandmother. You didn't decide it was my birthday. We built it together, and here's the beginning of our scene. So, and every line after that continues in the same vein. And that's yes and. And it's so fundamental. Everything else we learn about improv, you can trace it back to that. Now, blocking is the opposite of that. Blocking is what we do, which is very normal and a very useful thing for people who are not improvising a scene to do. So someone says, so hi, Grandma, and a block in that, if it was an improvised scene, would say, I'm not your grandmother, or are you calling me old? It's just negating that. It's saying no. And what that does is it doesn't take care of that person who said, hi, Grandma. It doesn't make their offer look good, which is another rule, that you make your scene partner look good. I don't have to worry about me. You don't have to worry about you. We're building the scene together. And so it doesn't obey that law. And it also, in improv, we don't have a cutting room floor. We don't have a place where you can cut off the parts that you don't like and rebuild anew, because the audience sees it all in live time. So they'll say, well, what happened to the grandmother? Why was that offer there? Well, it's not there because we had to start all over because that offer was blocked.
Well, all arts, of course, are struggling during COVID, theater for sure. Unexpected Productions is doing actively a lot of shows online.
Mm-hmm.
Some work better than others. One show, and you know how I feel about this show, that I thought was particularly spectacular, was a fake seminar featuring a guru, a New Age guru, and his two acolytes, of which you were one of them.
Just light this simple candle, and when you realize what it brings to you, you think, well, $57 wasn't that much, was it? If you really think about it.
Can you just talk a little bit about how you developed that character?
We had done a series of those shows a number of years ago, and Randy Dixon was always our guru. And we had built a world around him. And in building his character, it builds ours too, of, well, who would follow that? And instead of saying, what in my life makes me want to join John Joyce, I answer. Or I show it. I don't tell it and say, oh, I'm a lonely person who's needy looking for leadership, because that would just give it away, or, you know, but I act like that. That night, I found out through the improvised scene that I had left a family to come join John Joyce, you know, like saying goodbye in the rear view mirror or whatever. When I finally drove away in the family van, the little dog followed, just was running behind. I could see it in the rear view mirror, and just running and barking, and I thought, oh, am I doing the right thing? What? And John Joyce said, keep your eyes on the road. John Joyce said, keep your eyes on the road, and I did. I kept my eyes on the road, and I drove to the compound, and
it was so fun to watch because it was so layered.
Oh, cool. I'm glad you got to see that. It's a lot of fun to play.
So let's talk about July 10th, 2020. What happened?
Well, on July 10th, I woke up very early in the morning, and the world was just spinning around me. And it was hard to stand or do anything. I was very nauseous, did not feel well. My partner was trying to help me. And then he said, I think I need to call 911. And I said, yes, call 911. And which was, it's surprising to me now to think how decisive I was, or very clear, we're calling 911, which in life I always think, how do people know when they really need somebody? But anyway, that was very clear. And an ambulance came, took me to the hospital. And then there at the hospital, I found I had a stroke. And so I had surgery to remove part of my cerebellum, and then stayed in the hospital for a couple of weeks and have been in rehab since then, like going to physical therapists and stuff. And what the cerebellum does is handles coordination and balance issues, and so I had no balance or comprehension of what the world looked like. I mean, to me, it was like that. It was very, very slanted, and so I never knew what position I was in. I would position according to my perspective, which meant that sitting up straight meant I was like this. And the therapist would say, you now move this way. Now that is straight up and down. Can you feel that? That's what you need to practice. And that, among many other skills, was what they had me practice to learn how the rest of the world sees the rest of the world. So I feel very, very fortunate in that it didn't affect my speech at all, or mostly physically. I can walk and stuff, and I have a lot of vestibular or balance issues still, or coordination, but I'm in physical therapy for that, and they expect that to fully recover, which is really great. But I know that many people have huge physical losses over a stroke, so I feel very, very fortunate in that way.
So Jill, how have the principles of improv helped you in your healing process?
I would think so. I mean, it's helped me my whole life. It's a great philosophy. And if there's anything that demonstrates your loss of control, which improv is all about, not having control, is a stroke. That was my big offer, was you've lost control. This is the offer that's in front of you. So say yes to it by just accepting it, and then play what happens next, which is the next step that we do, which is the next step in therapy, to listen, to follow directions, to heal. And it's and also embrace that, no, you don't have control over your body, or the way you're able to think, or the way you're able to move always. And you don't have control. That's what you've practiced your whole life as an improviser. So not that those words came to me automatically. It feels scary to be like, oh, I can't do that. But it's also like, oh, that's the unknown. That's the lack of control. And the other part of it is, as improvisers, we're dependent on each other to build the scene. It's not up to me to come up with an agenda and drive it home to my scene partner. It's up to me to respond to things, or maybe have an offer, but then build it together. And in this condition of a stroke, I don't have control, and I need everybody. I need the doctors, I need the hospital, I need my partner, I need to follow directions. And it's like, well, good, yeah, we all do. We all do all the time. Let's build this together. You've wanted to depend on others and have them depend on you through all your improv life and life. Here's a big reason that you have to. So there's many ways you can translate it to being an improviser, or improv concepts that demonstrate it really strongly and vividly. So, yeah.
Well, that's lovely. Thank you so much for talking with me. I'm really happy to see you doing so very well. And I guess I would say cheers to the power of improv.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Cheers to the power of improv. And thank you so very much for listening.
It was delightful. Thanks so much, Jill.
Thank you.
Unexpected Productions' full show schedule is on their website.
Hi, I'm Barry the Bearable Bear. I am a bear, and I am super dangerous. Would you like a fresca?
Barry the Bearable Bear!
We did a season 1. Why am I a cartoon now? Lots of people come up to me and say, Barry, and then I eat them. I always wonder what they were going to tell me. Have you ever had that feeling when you're alone that someone is watching you using binoculars, and they have a funny hat and a bunch of balloons, and then they slowly melt into a puddle of goo, and some flute music plays out of a tree, and then the moon starts laughing as a huge bird that looks like your mother does your taxes inside a bolt of green lightning that comes out of the sun? Well, okay. Sometimes I am sad that I will never get to fly a space shuttle. But then I eat a fish and I forget where I am. Are you excited for the new Dune? I saw the trailer, and my favorite part is when they go to the planet Barrakis. Chalamet. Thank you for listening. If you're not gonna drink that fresca, can I please have it back?
Barry the Bearable Bear!
See more of John Osebold's many alter egos at josebold.com. And that is a wrap. Big thanks to Mom and Mom founder Greg Lundgren for hosting us. And you can learn lots more about this vibrant place at museumofmuseums.com. So thanks for tuning in. Stay safe, have a great week, and we'll see you soon.